Introduction. The Baltics, consisting of Estonia, Latvia, and Lithuania, had been under Soviet Union control for over 4 decades before finally regaining their independence in 1991. However, despite their independence, the Baltic states have been struggling to keep their sovereignty as Russian influence continues to grow in the region. This has become a major concern for both the Baltic states themselves and also for their allies in NATO and the European Union. This article examines the various aspects of Russia's growing influence in the Baltic region and what implications it might have for the future. The historical context. To understand the current situation in the Baltics, it is crucial to take a historical perspective. Before the Soviet Union's collapse, the Baltic states were part of the Soviet Union and were known as Soviet Socialist Republics. They gained independence along with other Soviet republics in 1991. However, during the Soviet era, the Soviet Union had a profound impact on the region, as it deployed a large number of troops, established military bases, and constructed infrastructure, which included a direct gas pipeline to Germany. Today, the well-developed natural gas pipeline infrastructure gives Russia control over the gas supply to the Baltic states, putting them at the mercy of Russian energy demands. Russian influence. Since the dissolving of the Soviet Union, Russia has been trying to flex its geopolitical muscles and regain its influence in the region. One such example is the 2014 annexation of Crimea, which increased tensions between Russia and its neighboring states. The annexation set off a chain of events that heightened geopolitical tensions, which resulted in the deployment of NATO forces to the region. This had a significant impact on the Baltic states' security, and since then, Russia has continued to exert its influence in a variety of ways. One such way is through the use of soft power. Russia has been successful in promoting pro-Russian sentiment in the Baltics by using cultural, linguistic, and economic initiatives. For example, Russian-language media outlets such as Sputnik and RT have gained a foothold in the region, instilling pro-Russian rhetoric in local residents. Furthermore, Russia has been able to leverage the notable Russian-speaking populations in the region, which are estimated to be up to 1/3 of the total population in all 3 Baltic states. It is not uncommon to see Russian-language billboards and signage in these countries. Another way Russia is exerting its influence is through disinformation. Russia has been accused of utilizing a variety of disinformation campaigns to create confusion, chaos, and weaken confidence in democratic processes in the Baltic states. Unfortunately, these campaigns have often had a significant impact on the population, and they have worked to undermine the region's security and democracy. The impact of Russian influence. The Baltic states' concern about Russian influence in their region is not just focused on their national security and sovereignty. It has direct impacts on their economy as well. The Baltic states have economies that are largely export-oriented, meaning that their economies depend on external markets. The result of this is that the Baltic states have become vulnerable to the Russian import ban on European Union food products that was implemented in 2014, reducing the overall Baltic states' export revenues. Furthermore, the region has seen substantial disinvestment and an exodus of businesses due to the same political and economic pressure. The role of NATO and EU. NATO and the EU have recognized the growing influence of Russia in the region and have taken several steps to protect the Baltics from any potential aggression. To prevent any conflict from happening, NATO has set up enhanced forward presence, a combination of troops and equipment from various member countries, in the territory of the Baltic states and Poland. This presence is meant to deter any aggression from Russia and assure the people in the Baltic states that the organization stands behind it. The EU has also been supportive of the Baltic states, both politically and economically. The EU has engaged in economic activities in the Baltic states that encourage the states' autonomy from Russia. The Baltic states have access to the European Union's many programs funded in a variety of ways, from EU funds to Erasmus+, to strengthen the infrastructure and economy of the area. Conclusion. The growing influence of Russia in the Baltic states is a significant concern to the Baltics, NATO, and the EU. The Baltic states' security, economy, and social fabric can be impacted by the Russian presence in the region. NATO and EU programs aimed at supporting the independence of the Baltic states and curbing Russian influence have been established, and the support of alliances and collaborative short-term projects has been a boon to the Baltic states' economies. The independence and security of the Baltic states should be prioritized to protect the interests of the region and promote prosperity for its residents.